wanted to talk about the roller windows and...
Is it that sort of stuff we want to know?
Yeah, the kind of nav...
Not many people get the opportunity to be in here, and this is where it all begins. Our malt, that is a laureate varietal that's coming from Bucky Maltings, is delivered at the other end of the malt bins here, stored in these malt bins, and when ready, it'll come along this conveyor belt up to the top of the building here, pass through our destoner, and then pass through our Porteous mill here, our 4-roller Porteous mill. That'll take around about 3 to 4 hours, where we crack open the grain and create our grist. All right, I am currently standing at where the old mash tun used to be. Now in 2001 it was removed, and you could see where it would be here in the middle of this floor. Behind you is the grist bins, so the grist stored here, the hot water stored there. It was very efficient for us to have the mash tun in this area. However, we went through expansion in 2001 to create more liquid, so we had to move our mash tun. So follow me and I'll show you where that is. Welcome to what is quite honestly one of the funkiest smelling tun rooms in the Scotch whisky industry. This room is full of different flavours. Now in here we have 8 washbacks, of which they're all made from Siberian larch. Now that wort is brought down here, it'll fill one of these, and we will add liquid yeast. We will ferment for up to 56 hours, on average 56 hours, which will create this incredibly funky tropical fruit note, sulphur notes within our spirit. This is our Steinecker mash tun. This was the new one that was put in 2001. Now, if you look up, it'll tell you where we're standing. Now, a very unique place to find a mash tun is inside the pagoda itself, so the dog ventilator. Now, we put this in 2001, a massive piece of German engineering. We took the wall off here, brought it in 2 parts, and it's welded up the middle. Now, the water we use is the water from the Craigellachie burn. Now, it is pumped in, comes along the screw where it's mixed with the grist, and fills into our mash tun. Okay, we're going to run 3 different waters through this. The first 2 waters are going to remove the sugars that we need for the alcohol production at the next stage. And the last one is the sparge that's going to take the final sugars that then will become the first water of the next run. Okay, but once those 2 waters are done, they're going to pipe next door and down into fill one of our fermentation tanks. Okay, welcome to the still house here at Craigellachie. Now, when you enter, you come down the stairs, you get a very unique view of the bottom of the kettles here, where the steam coil would enter at the bottom of the still. So you get to see where the old direct fire still would have been underneath here before we head up and see the actual still room itself. Welcome to the Craigellachie still house. Now, this is something that you may have seen when you drive past. It's those big roller windows at the front. Everyone stops to take a photo. There was a couple out there taking a photo already. But once you get in here, you get to see the sheer size of these stills. Quite possibly some of the largest stills here in the Scotch whisky industry. Now, obviously, we doubled the stills, so we're going through our wash stills here and then through our spirit stills there at the back. What's unique about Craigellachie is we're going to run these hard, we're going to run them fast. All right, so very little reflux and all those heavier oils and compounds going up over the lin arm and condensing back down into our safe. It's here where we really create the character of Craigellachie. What you will notice, anyone with a keen eye will notice that we're missing something at the back wall here, the shell and tube condenser that would normally sit at the end of the lin arm. You can see it just disappears outside. That takes us to our worm tubs. So if you follow me, I'll take you up there. Okay guys, we're standing in one of the most unique places in Scotch whisky. This is the worm tubs at Craigellachie. Behind me you have the River Spey just there in the village of Craigellachie. Now, below us are the worm tubs. And if you look here, this is the lin arm coming out of the stills, out of the wall there that I showed you before we came up, and into the worm tubs itself. Now, it'll start really, really large, but every level it goes down and coils down, it'll get a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller before it heads back in and into the spirit safe. Now what happens here is there's a condensing of the vapor back into liquid. There's a film that builds up on the copper pipe that will prevent any copper interaction. So what you have here is less copper interaction than you would have a shell and tube condenser. It'll create a robust and oily spirit, bringing all those heavier compounds over. Well, this is the traditional way of condensing whiskey, but in the 60s we saw massive changes into shell and tube condensers, much more efficient. There is only around about 18 distilleries still in Scotland that have these. There was a number of distilleries that removed theirs, and they could not. This is quite a unique place to be for a worm tub condenser, because most of them are wooden out the back of distilleries. What we have here is a stainless steel one, so you can feel the temperature differentiation from the top to the bottom. The top is really, really warm, but as we move down, it becomes cooler and cooler, and that is where the whiskey will condense at different levels, creating different characters in it. Okay, and that concludes our tour. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We look forward to hopefully seeing as many of you as possible over the Spirit of Speyside Festival.